somatics, theta healing, subconscious reprogramming, accepting and releasing your emotions, regulation. If you're here for this, then you're in the right place. I am Pratna, and you're listening to Rebel with a Purpose. In today's episode, I've invited Marine, who is a subconscious explorer. She has so many golden nuggets of wisdom that will help you go into your past and heal certain stories that you have told yourself. She also speaks about her confidence journey, which is so, so enlightening. So I really hope you guys have a good time listening to her. Let's get right into it. Okay, hi Marine, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good actually. I'm doing
Oh
really, really good.
oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm so excited to have you on my episode and talk to you because you have so many like gold nuggets that I'm really hoping to get out of you today.
Well,
So
if you ask kindly.
let's get started then. Why don't you start off with introducing yourself, what you do to us first? Let's start off with that.
So actually, this is cool that you asked the question because right now I'm in the process of redefining a lot what I do, like, the message and like kind
Mm-hmm.
of the big picture. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, what I want to tell you is that now, so far, I call myself a subconscious explorer. I love to explore the subconscious mind, and what I do actually, it's not just healing or coaching or therapy, it's really proposing people adventures to go in their subconscious mind, in their inner world, very, very deep, where basically all the traumas are. And this is all what you're doing in life, all your behaviors, whatever is happening in your life is everything is based on your subconscious mind. So if you really want to see changes in your life and completely, yeah, create this dream life you want to have and reach your goals, you basically have to go first in your subconscious mind to release anything that's holding you back from it and not
Yeah.
serving you. And so I do a lot of energetic work, somatics. I
Mm-hmm.
love to work with emotions as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are basically the modalities as well. And it's, yeah, I'm the subconscious. I used to say, like, I just discovered recently that actually I've been doing this my whole life because since I'm young, I love being into stories. My parents will tell me and my sister stories before bed. So my
Mm-hmm.
imagination is really rich. And I kept doing that also by myself alone. And actually, I consider that I talk subconscious fluently right now.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And yeah, the subconscious is like 95% of your mind, right? It stores all your fears and your emotions and all your limiting beliefs. So, say someone, like I'm just giving a scenario over here. If someone needs to work on this feeling of not feeling good enough, because this comes up a lot, right? Just
Mm,
I'm not
mm.
feeling good enough for a job, not feeling good enough for my partner, not feeling good enough to start a business, not feeling good enough as an entrepreneur or a leader. Where do you think that generally arises from, and how does one change that pattern of thinking?
So at first, the feeling of not being good enough, this is something that I would say almost all of us hold. Like it's
Mhm.
a very, very deep-rooted belief that we have, that we carry. And so it depends. You have like different layers because there is what happened into this life for you. There is also what happened in your genetical lines. There is also what happened historically, in your society context. And
Uh-huh.
also, if you believe into reincarnation, there is everything that happened in your soul, in your past lives.
Yeah.
And so what we will do, for example, in a session is first like test out if you have that belief. I'm not good enough. There is like a way to test this belief through your body because the
Mhm.
body never lies.
Mm.
And then from there, we also see if it's present in your life, if this is something that you created in your own life, if that's something that's been carried from your genetical lines and or the history or past lives. And then it's really a digging work. So you can imagine that we start from the surface. And so you have, for example, let's say you have the problem, you feel you're not good enough. So it's hard for you to start your business, let's say. And so we start from there and we really go down the rabbit hole where we dig in and we are going to ask, okay, why you don't feel good enough? What's going on? What are the fears? What is the worst that can happen when you start your business, for example? And that's how we go from question to questions, really to the worst case scenario. So we basically access the deepest fear of the person. And usually, what I also really like to do is to use the sensations in the body because basically a trauma is held in the body in terms of it's a sensation, basically an emotion that has been suppressed and that has been, kept inside and it hasn't been expressed. So now it's like crystallized in the body. And the only thing that this emotion wants to is to be released, to flow through your body. And that's why you keep attracting a lot of of the same scenarios and same situations in your life, because this emotion that's actually locked in you has a certain vibration. And
Mm-hmm.
so it attracts to it situation that vibrates the same way. So you're going to feel again the emotion. So you're going to be able to access the locked emotion that was in you. So it can finally be processed and out of your system.
Yeah.
So I really like to also do all the somatic works, helping people go through their emotions,
Mm.
be able to hold themselves through the emotion, because half of the work is basically feeling the pain, feeling the emotions to let them go out of your system. So that's a big part of the work. And then it's about, like, most of the time this brings people back in time, and they will access childhood memories, like the first time where they decided basically to believe that they are not good enough. And so we get back to this situation in the past, and we really access that part when they were a kid. And we get to interact with them being a kid, because in energetic work there is no time and space, so we can access everything, memories from the past, your ancestral memories as well, your past
Mhm.
lives. And so whether it's in your life, or in your genetical lines, or in your past lives, it's still kind of the same process. We get to the first time and place where this belief got created: I'm not good enough. And we really try to understand what happened there, what made you believe that, and what are the lessons, what would make you feel safe to release that pattern, to release that belief. And then once the person really, when the person went through the whole thing and we understood why this got created, we basically, I'm channeling straight from source, and I'm connecting to people's energetic field. And so
Mhm.
what would happen is that with their permission, we
Yeah.
release the old program and we replace with a new one. Like, for example, I'm not good enough, we will take it out and we replace, okay, super simple and basic, I'm good enough, you know? And also, and depending again on um, where it came from, it could be I'm not good enough because, um, what could it be? Oh, there can be so many reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not good enough because anytime I was acting out of my full joy and being in my full expression, people would get upset at me.
Mm-hmm.
So I must do something wrong and I must not be good enough.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
here we will do a bit more work around, showing the highest perspective on what it means to feel good enough to express yourself fully, and also to, kind of put the truth back, show
Yeah.
people the highest perspective on, okay, other people were not ready for that maybe. I mean, it's a whole work. It really
Yeah.
depends. Every person is different and every scenario is different, but that's basically how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. And what if the client can't remember the first time they felt this way?
They always do.
They always remember?
Yeah, this is the crazy thing, because I put myself in theta brainwaves and
Yeah.
then I enter people's field. And so this automatically put them in theta brain waves. And the thing with theta waves is that this is the moment where you're close to falling asleep. So you're super relaxed and you're very close to your subconscious mind. And in the subconscious, everything is there. All the memories that we thought we forgot, they are there. And the thing is that sometimes when we were very, very young, or if it's ancestors or past lives, actually, the truth is that it doesn't have to be the exact thing that happened. It's probably not going to be exactly the same image, but just like dreams, it works like symbols. And the most important is for you to access the sensations. Those one are already always going to be accurate. And then what you see, the visualization, is more um, kind of like the paper. There is the story, and the paper is here to hold the story,
Mm.
because then you have something to read on. Otherwise, there wouldn't be paper, there wouldn't be a screen, you wouldn't be able to read it, to read the story. So it's basically the visualization is kind of acting the same way. It's just the form doesn't really matter. What you see, it doesn't matter in the end. What is important is that it helps you access your emotions from the past, your fears, and the beliefs. That's the most important. So
Mm.
you will always have something coming. It can be with words, with sensations, with images. We always get where we want. Always.
Mm. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Because I mean,
Yeah, I
I've
love it.
done this before where like a coach has asked me, when was the first time you felt this way? Or when was the first time, this happened to you? And I'm just like, how am I going to remember? Like the first time is so many years ago, but like now that you say that you help your clients get into a theta brainwave state by you also accessing that state first, and that helps them come up with these images or these emotions that helps them, bring back that memory. That makes so much sense because obviously it's stored somewhere, right? That memory is stored somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's why it's
yeah.
affecting us today. Yeah.
No, exactly. It's such because you go in such a deep, deep, deep state that you naturally, and also the what I really love with that is that you kind of lose the notion of time because my sessions usually they're like 1 hour and a half on average, but sometimes you feel like it was 2, 3 hours because you completely transcend time and space.
Oh
And
my
so you
God.
really, when you come out of the session, you're like, "Ooh, what
That
happened?"
sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's a proper journey, just like I call it the Netflix of the subconscious mind, because we're traveling, literally. There is
oh,
an
amazing.
adventure.
Yeah. And the Netflix of the subconscious mind, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. The Netflix of the subconscious mind. So, are you able to use the theta healing on yourself? Like, are you able to heal parts of yourself now that you're certified as a theta healer?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, I love doing this on me. And what I like to say also to
Mm-hmm.
people is that the healing journey, when we work on ourselves, I feel like it's a collaborative process. And but part of it we can do ourselves, and it's also good to be helped and held by other people and witnessed by mentors and coach and guides, because there are certain topics where we really need to be held so we can go further because there are just some dead angles that we don't see or some stuff that we're denying and we don't really want to go there, so being
Mm.
held by people is amazing.
Yeah.
And then there is also all the work that you do with yourself, by yourself, because so for example, when I tell you that it goes crazy with the visualizations, I feel that sometimes when I do it for myself it's much better because I don't have to describe and transcribe what's happening in me. So I can really stay, like for me, it's easier to stay in the feeling and in the images because when I tell you it goes wild, like really wild. And so I prefer to stay in my thing and I feel it's going to be way more profound because sometimes I don't even have to say anything. It just goes with understanding, feeling, sensing images. And then I can also mix it with Reiki, with somatics. I mean, yeah, and then you are so free to do whatever. I really like to do it for myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I just want to ask a really weird question, but have you ever done ayahuasca or like any form of a psychedelic that helps with this?
The only thing that I did in a ceremony was to take DMT. That was
DMT.
like on. Yeah, DMT is the also the molecule that you have in ayahuasca. I didn't do
Okay.
ayahuasca yet. One day when I feel a bit of resistance towards it, to be fair, but
Okay.
I know that when the medicine will call me, I will go.
Yeah.
But I
Mhm.
did DMT, and that was quite crazy because it's like, yeah, experience being pure presence, like,
Mm-hmm.
and also a near death experience. And I feel like honestly with the sessions, I mean, I also took mushroom, but I was not really in for ceremonies. But now next time I take some, I really want it to be
In
in
the
more like this healing approach.
yeah. Hmm.
And actually, that's the thing is that at some point, when you really let yourself embrace who you are and it's really about full acceptance. Like when you accept the wild parts of you, when you don't hold so much shame on who you are, then you will see that the visuals you have, you become way more receptive and way more open. And I feel like it could be as if you took psychedelics. Honestly, I have images coming and I'm like, oh, where is that coming from? And it's not as vivid as taking, for example, psychedelics, where it's
Yeah.
like very here in your reality. But in
Yeah.
the sessions, it's still there and present, you
Yeah.
know?
And it only comes up in your theta brainwave state.
Um, yeah, because then, or at least in an altered conscious
Altered
state.
consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like theta waves is one way, like the other end of the spectrum. You can also access the delta brain wave. And this is more when you feel like your body is completely asleep, or you
Mm-hmm.
are maybe asleep because when you sleep, you're in the delta brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
And did it already happen to you? You meditate, and
Yeah.
then at some point you feel the way you breathe, the way you are in your body, it feels your body is completely
100% different.
asleep, and the
Yeah.
consciousness is completely up. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
I felt that
yeah,
way. Yeah. I do
so
this
amazing.
meditation, yeah, to share with you, like I do this meditation called future self visualization, where I literally like see my consciousness leaving my body and like moving times, right? Like going into the future. So I see that happening. So I completely like get the whole feeling, and I feel like, I'm a soul in this physical body and I can just leave it
Mm,
anytime and go and
mm.
visit different timelines, because there is no the concept of time and space, like you said, it's energy. So yeah, I really like.
Yeah, and that could be maybe the alpha, like alpha brain waves, like high beta, alpha, or even sometime people, Joe Dispenza?
Yeah.
Yeah, like also like what he does in his seminars. One day I'm gonna be in one of his seminars. Like honestly, it looks so amazing. But
Ah,
like also people can access the gamma state, and here it's like your wave frequency are super, super, super high, and it's like you have transcendental experiences. But yeah, there are
wow.
many ways actually to access like altered state of
Yeah, how do you
consciousness.
do it? Like, what are some of the ways that you have used?
Meditation a lot, like meditation. And yeah, in the when I got certified in theta healing, we also learned a meditation practice to get ourselves into the theta brainwaves, like through visualization and going higher up. They say that there are 7 different dimensions, and
Yes,
the
yeah.
seventh one, the seventh plane, is where you have the energy creator, the divine God. And
Hmm.
so we basically put ourselves there, and from there we have access to everything. So
Hmm.
yeah, but honestly, I would say like for people who are listening, yeah, like on it, meditation, like to me, the one key I would share is really having a still mind and
Still
being in
my,
your body. Yeah, because when your ego is on, it's just not really working.
yeah.
And sometimes it's about, when you have thoughts and your ego is here, the more you are able to be the one observing and put yourself into
Hmm.
your seat of awareness and be the observer,
Yeah.
this is when you are more likely to be in an altered conscious state,
Okay.
when you are the observer of your life
Being
and
very
not
present.
attaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, presence, basically presence. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what meditation is. It's just like noticing your thoughts and being present and being aware of this, right? It doesn't always have to
yeah.
be sitting in a place, closing your eyes, focusing on breath. It could just be like focusing on the present and not being in the past or future.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel honestly, this is even the thing, there are people who are so focused on, I want to be enlightened, I want to be enlightened. Yeah, that's still the ego talking,
Ego.
and that's you wanting to go somewhere. But when you completely let go and relax into the actual action without trying to force or push anything, and you simply are,
Hmm.
that's where the magic happens. When you stop wanting to be something, but you just are the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
This is when things like you open the door. Like this is actually one of my favorite citation. I completely forgot where I listened to it, but it says that the doors to God are always open. We're just too big to go in.
Oh, I love that. The doors to God are always open. We're too big to go in. I love that.
Mm,
So, yeah, so how do we go in through that door? Like, how do we focus on getting into our feminine or going in with the flow? Because, society in general, being brought up, especially like me being from the East, and you're from Europe, so it's just that this whole mentality of the masculine all the time, and the structure and the rigidity and the rules that we've grown up in. How do you start easing into this knowing and trusting the universe or trusting God? Because it is like just hard to surrender and just be in the passenger princess seat and not take control when we've always been taught to take control. And I don't know, I just find it hard
mm.
to find that balance. So how, because everything that you were saying, it resonated with me that you have been able to ease into your feminine.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I'm on my way. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% there yet. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I've been like too much on the extreme of that, being too much in the flow, and I
Yeah.
started to not be doing enough.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding again the balance between the yin and yang, being
Yeah.
in the feminine and the masculine, both of them, just it's like a dance. And one leads the other one. And so it's really about, finding this flow where I mean, at some point, it's really all about, and this will answer your general question about like how do you ease yourself into something. It's really about listening and not try, because when you try to do something, you are in the forcing, and when
Yeah.
you force, you block anything. And if you want to access your intuition, because to me this is all based on intuition, when you tap into your intuition and you really properly listen to what your body tells you, to what your soul wants, there is no way you will fuck it up. There is no way to fuck up. Like
Yeah.
honestly, this is just gonna be like so smooth. And honestly, tapping into your intuition, I would say this is the easy part.
Hmm.
And but the real hard thing to me is when it's like deciding to do it. It's not doing it, but it's like going through the resistance of, imagine you're in the situation where you're forcing and you're like, oh, I want to be in my feminine, I want to let go, I want to surrender. You're in the resistance. And so at first it's about deciding, okay, I don't know yet what I want to do, but I'm just going to be with the situation and accept that. And this is also this is one of the things my mentor told me, and I love that saying, is that if you cannot accept the situation you're in right now, accept that you cannot accept.
Mm.
And that is so cool because it's
Oh.
basically finding the first entrance door. It's just like when we do like all this work on the subconscious mind, some people are like, I cannot feel my emotion. It's impossible for me to feel. No, 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 no. And it's just a lot of resistance. But obviously, they're feeling the resistance. So you got to start with the resistance before you can access any other parts of you, you know? And so it's basically I feel like for me, the whole game is to find the first place, the first, there is a big how do you call it, like a big thread, and you just try to find the first part, and then you can pull the whole thread
Ah.
out. You just need to find the first entrance. What is the first thing that you can accept? What is the first thing that you can observe? And maybe the first thing that you can observe is just how annoyed you are, like, and then, okay,
Mm.
observe that. That's the start. And
Mm.
just observe without trying to change anything. And you will see the more you are in the observer and you accept and you're just feeling whatever is present and you accept reality as it is, your body will naturally lead you exactly where you have to be. But when you try to decide where you want to go, that's not working. That's from the mental. When you let go and you completely trust your body to do the work for you, everything happens and you're just the one observing.
Mm. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me. And what
Mhm.
what would you say? Because I know you work with clients. So what is a common struggle or a challenge that a lot of people come to you with? Like something that comes up for you right now. What is something that a lot of people come
Mm.
to you with?
Well, that was the everything that comes down to worthiness,
Worthiness.
well, yeah, feeling worthy of, feeling worthy of being loved, there is a lot of things coming towards rejection, feeling accepted for who you are,
Mm.
having value. And this is also what I really like to work on is duality, because I feel like a lot of time in the spiritual and healing coaching world, we go too much on one side of the equation, like the positive, positive, positive. But I feel like it's really important for people to embrace the whole like the whole duality of life. Like, yes, life is amazing, it's a miracle, and at times it can be shit, you know? And this is so what I really like to do when we work on aspect of worthiness is also to bring back the balance, to bring back duality for people so they can be with life as it is, and they can have value no matter what, and they are able to hold themselves, because this is something usually people don't come up with, but this is something I really like to give people and to put in their system, that they are able to hold themselves no matter what, so they are able to feel all their emotions, all their sensations, the comfortable, the uncomfortable, the joy, the pain, the anger, the sadness, the surprise, the miracle, everything, and they are able to hold themselves and carry themselves through all life experiences. And I feel like this is making you able, like this makes you able to, even if you have all the beliefs in the world, like all the I'm not good enough, I don't have value, no, 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 just being able to hold yourself and to accept yourself as you are, where you are right now, I feel like this is just so healing. And many people are avoiding the fear, many people are avoiding the pain.
Mm.
But when we accept that and we lean into it and we go through it and transcend it, even if we didn't work on all our belief system, that's like that's also a healing way. That's how you heal.
So you don't have to go back to every single like belief system.
The idea is also to tap into the core. For example, I'm not good enough. That's really a core belief. Because, for example, let's say somebody comes and they're like, I wish I could not be just in toxic relationship. And you could imagine that the belief is, I attract only toxic relationship. But there is something deeper usually, because maybe if the person believes that they are not good enough, they believe that they can only attract, toxic partners. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of working on it's not the surface, but in the mid-level, which will be the toxic relationship, we work directly on the feeling of worthiness, the feeling of feeling love no matter what, the value. And this is much deeper. So sometimes, so I mean, it's not
Mm.
just sometimes, but when we work on those core beliefs, then the rest is naturally, being treated naturally.
Yeah.
It's naturally released.
Mm.
Yeah, because imagine if you had to work on each and every single
Yeah.
beliefs, you will need a few more lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And if you're comfortable sharing, could you share about your own journey with worthiness or confidence and,
Mhm.
how you have become more confident or how you've built worthiness or self-esteem in your life?
That's for me, that's a big topic. Yeah, that's definitely a big topic because when I was young, maybe you will then, I don't know if you will tell it here right now, but I was super shy, but like proper level of shy. I'm sharing that in I think that's going to be the episode, my podcast episode that's going to come
Uh,
live next week.
okay.
And yeah, I was, the kind of kid in the school sitting more towards the back. And if I will be asked a question, my face will turn completely red like a tomato, and I will just like, start to panic, start to sweat, and try to throw an answer as quick and as fast as I could. So I was done with that, and my heart, would increase. And for me that was terrifying. Or doing class presentation, like terrible. My self-esteem, confidence, sense of feeling worthy, it was like low, very low,
Hmm.
like pretty low. Or even asking stranger, like even like 2 to 3 years ago, it was still like a struggle for me to ask my way to strangers in the street. I would still have my face turning red.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so basically, it was a whole process. Like it took me many years at first to decide to work on that. I remember when I started high school, it was a new school. So I was like, this time it's going to be different. At this time, I'm going to be the cool and confident kid and I'm really going to go for it. And it worked a little bit for a few days because I relied on willpower. And
Mhm.
then I got ejected from a group. And I started to make also new friends who were
Mhm.
more like, not the cool kids, popular kids, but my tribe, my vibe. And it
Mhm.
was more like trying to change trying to change reality with the consciousness, with the mental. Like, and it works, but it's a very long way and it takes a lot of time. But I also like to teach that way. It's the way where, you become self-aware and you realize that there is something in your life you're not happy about. And every time you get confronted to that situation, you just decide to choose a different path. You decide to choose a different behavior. And this one works. Honestly, that's the basics, and that's what everyone is doing, when they want to change their lives. And that's amazing to do that, to be able to do that. And then I started, the spirituality. I also went into the spiritual ego, the gaslighting, thinking that I just had to be love and light and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
And then I came across theta healing. I mean, at first I came across my own emotions, starting to accept that, ooh, I buried a lot of things under my own carpet. So I had to be with that, but I didn't know how to deal with this. Then I also came across, I mean, I didn't know somatics at that time, but I started also to dance out my own feelings and
Mhm.
be with them and really start from, like, because I was in full denial of my own emotions. And then I started to open up to them, to be with them, and give them time and space. So that also made a huge difference in feeling more confident because I didn't know, but I was releasing a lot of the emotions that has been suppressed and that were keeping me in the low self-esteem and the low confidence. And then I came across all the subconscious work. And this is when I had a coach in Bali for 4 months. And it was just such a transformative journey because I really went deep within where all the subconscious beliefs were being held. And we did the work, and it just went exponential because all the work I did was there for a reason. I started where, I was playing the best I could with the cards I had back then, and I did my best. And since I now work really more with my nervous system and my subconscious mind, I'm like, it's exponential. And
Yeah.
so I feel like, when some people sometimes they come to my Instagram and they're like, wow, you're making the face cam stories and reels. That's so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, and I mean, I'm feeling good about this. And for example, even us recording right now, because there is also the video,
Yeah.
usually I know that in this situation, like you will have a red tomato face. Like I would feel like,
Yeah.
and here if I check in, I'm like, no, my heart is beating normal. I'm not sweating, I'm not like in panic mode, and I'm really like just just like I will be talking to a friend and we are recording.
Yeah.
So it completely it's completely changed, in my
Yeah.
nervous system. And I know also that I'm just a percent of where I'm going next. I know that this self-confidence,
Mm,
this self-expression, this I'm gonna bring it even like
yeah.
it's gonna be even deeper and higher and stronger.
It's
But
just
yeah,
a
that's a
fraction
long
of where
journey.
you're going next. It's just a fraction. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of it. Before I would feel overwhelmed, like, oh my God, how much more do I have to do? And
Yeah.
now I'm like,
Yeah.
hmm, excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And
Thank you.
yeah, that's a huge 180-degree shift, and that's so important. And you spoke about, accepting or releasing your emotions through somatics or, dance work, movement. Ho- Can you explain a little bit more about somatics? Because I feel like it's gaining a lot of momentum now, and
Yeah.
I am loving somatics. Like I've started like incorporating dancing every morning. And it's not even like a routine. Like I used to be very stressed out about having morning routines, like wake up, journal, meditate. But I don't believe in that anymore. I just do what feels good and don't like set myself up for like such huge expectations of what to do when I wake up because I'm not a morning person. Like I don't like, just waking up and doing. I
Mm.
just want to be. And for me, the being comes from just, listening to some music, writing down my gratitude. Like that's all I do. It's not too much work. And it actually makes me feel really good. So I've started like, even in the shower, I'm dancing, I'm singing, I'm getting out and I'm moving my body. And it just helps me release these emotions. So I want you to talk more about like somatics and how you use that as a tool to accept these emotions and release them.
Yeah, and first, before going there, I feel you 100% with the morning routines. Like, I used to come from with the background of I could do 2 to 3 hours of morning routine in the
Oh my
morning,
God. Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
crazy, because, I learned the Reiki and the Qigong and this and that. And I'm like, I need to do everything so I can
Okay.
function.
Yeah.
No, Marine, you don't need to do everything to function. And also, same, I had to let go of that. And going to the mountain and hiking a lot during the summer helped me so much because I couldn't do everything. And I realized, like, oh, my body is still working and I'm still functioning if I don't
Yeah.
do the routines. Okay, maybe. And then I started to release, and now that's the same. Depending also where I am on my cycle, I will just do different things. And depending on what's calling me sometimes, and I will have it as images, like I feel very, very called towards writing. Or maybe I feel like I need to dance. Like 2 or 3 days ago, it was
Mhm.
more like the somatic dance release. Or even yesterday, I was like, I want to go walking in the nature. And so I just follow what's coming. I mean, there are just certain things that I do every morning. Like I have my morning cleansing ritual, like an energy ritual that I do morning and evening, just like brushing teeth, because it's just like I see it's so important. But besides that, everything is moving. Sometimes there's a lot of meditations. At the moment, I'm really back into meditations, and sometimes it's more movement. I mean, whatever wants to come. And yeah, and for me, so to come back also on the somatic part, um, I love dancing. I really, really, really love dancing. And it hasn't been always the case. Like when I was young, people like I remember my mom would say, you dance like a broom. Thank you, mom. Thank you. And but the more I like at some point, you stop giving a fuck and you really go do the things that you feel called for. And for me, listening to music and dancing,
Mm,
it's like I love it so much. And actually now that I talk with you about this, I realize that for me that it's been so healing. Like for me, that's the my
mm,
first way of expressing myself is like through my body, being into my body and moving it. And
yeah,
I feel like somatics can look scary for people because they're like, how do we do that? That's like it feels like it's a proper
yeah,
thing, but soma means the body. So you have a body, I have a body, you have a body, people listening have a body. Well, you can do somatics. It's just like, even moving your arm, that's you moving your body. And it's all about, again, as I shared a bit earlier in the podcast, when we let go and we really listen to what's present,
mhm,
you can put some music to help,
yeah,
and you just trust yourself. At first maybe you're going to be super shy and you won't move much. Maybe at first it's about gonna like maybe the first thing you're going to do is actually reconnect to your sensations, which is amazing to do first. And then maybe at some point you will start to move your arms a bit, or you will, like, there is an amazing thing, it's like moving the spine, going from right to left or
mhm,
back to front,
yeah,
because that's really smoothing for the nervous system, or making some cycle with the spine. Those
okay,
ones, because we hold a lot of trauma, like the deep core traumas in the spine. And so moving your spine is super, super helpful. And then you will see at some point you end up dancing and making the craziest faces, like the, and then the noise and the sound and all the movements. And honestly, I feel like the more you can unleash yourself,
The
but
better.
when I say yourself, like the raw, wild, weird parts of you, the more healing it is, because it means that you are able to embrace yourself and accept all of you.
And
And this
release the
for me,
shame. Yeah.
yeah, you release the shame. At first, for
Mhm.
yourself, you'll be like, what the hell am I doing? I'm so weird. Like, I'm out
Yeah.
of my mind. But the more you do it, the more you embrace it, and the better it will feel. And you will see, like, honestly, for me, it's been so healing. Like, even being in my room by myself, like, sometimes if my dad is around, I will be like, I'm not doing anything. But even just being by yourself, doing the things for yourself, it's so
Yeah.
healing. It's so,
Yeah.
so, so healing. Yeah.
And is the trauma also stored in our hips? Because I've heard like shaking your hips releases emotional distress also. Is that true?
Mm. Yeah, like that's also what I heard. I'm not a somatic expert. I just like I told you, I have a body. I know I can move it. So you don't need to be a somatic
Oh,
expert to know that. But
somatics,
yeah,
yeah.
it's true that there is a lot of trauma holding the hips. So that's why stretching the hips is really, really nice.
Hmm.
And I also realized, like for me, it's also this like the strong structure of our body, like the spine. We have so much in the spine.
Yeah.
And then again, everyone is different and we have all different layers. So feel what's going on in your body. It really depends. For example, when I did Vipassana, and for me, after I went very, very deep in me, like to the point where my body completely dissolved. And that was one day of the Vipassana. And after that, I felt my whole left side was like a rock. It was really like painful and hard. And it was not my hips necessarily. It was not, it's just like it was what was present for me right now. Okay, Vipassana, we couldn't move.
Mhm.
But if I could have moved, I would have explored probably different things with my left side. And there are so many
But
ways.
you
It's
couldn't move
infinite.
during Vipassana?
No, it's just meditation, seated and not moving. Yeah, that's the hard way.
But
That's the
how would
really,
you
really
know
hard
if you
way.
were sitting in your room and moving?
But here it's because like when this happened, I was in the meditation hall with everyone.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
Okay.
also I try not to move because the thing with Vipassana is that you want to give it a full try to the
Yeah.
to the method. So you really want to. I mean, what I like is to observe the rules when I'm
Yeah.
learning something new and to be very strict with that because I want to see the full potential of the tool.
Yeah.
And that's how I could really, like, for example, me dissolving my body was because I strictly observed the whole rules and
Yeah. Yeah.
principles.
Yeah.
And it worked that way. I mean, now I'm doing things differently. When I meditate, if I feel that Reiki or Theta healing wants to come in, if I feel like I want to move my body and dance, of course, now I completely let go and I let the flow, I let my
Yeah.
intuition decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the
Oh,
thing
that's
with
awesome.
somatics. It's all about listening to our own intuition. And yeah, the more you're in your body, the best it's
The
gonna be.
better. Yeah.
And that's a rhyme, so that's true.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So that gets us to the end of this episode. I absolutely loved all your golden nuggets. Now, to end off, can you share with our listeners how they can connect with you, one to one or in your coaching containers or learn more from you and also your Instagram? Yeah,
Yeah, so my Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at indigoflow_with life. I don't know if you can put it
I will put
probably
it
on the
down.
description.
Yep.
Amazing. And yeah, at the moment, I've been also reworking my whole offer suite. So, and I'm going to post about it. And there are basically 3 ways right now to work with me. The one-on-one, this is called Beyond You, because it goes beyond you in the end. And it's a full 3 to 6 months mentorship where we go together every week. We have a session, and I'm also available. We have a private discussion where I'm here for people when they have questions. And also, I'm sending them specifically designed meditations, theta downloads for them, like depending on what they need. And we have all those sessions, and we go very, very, very far on the deep beliefs they hold to actually release them from that. So that's a proper adventure. And then there is the Odyssey, I think you say in English. And this is a group coaching. And in this group program, we are 5 to 6 explorers, and we go together towards, for me, what are the fundamentals of living a good life, and
Mhm.
healing, but without being caught up into the downward spiral because sometimes we are so focused on the healing that we forget to live.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are so much into the positive, gaslighting, spiritual ego that we just don't look at our shadows. And also sometimes when we have the approach that is more the meditation and being mindful, it's just a very long way. So what I like to do is to combine everything that for me on my journey was so helpful. Those are like the milestones, and I want to share with people so they can actually build their own inner compass. They can become basically their own healer. They can be embodied in their own leadership when it comes to what do I really want in my life? What's my intuition saying? So it's basically reconnecting people to their own inner leadership,
Yeah.
if we make it simple. And then there is the base camp, which is my community, and this is where I share many tools that help me raise my energy level because I've been struggling a lot with feeling energized and motivated to do things, and I was procrastinating a lot and feeling oftentimes overwhelmed. And so I'm sharing a lot of tools from qigong, energy practices, even with nutrition, movement, so many things, even also with mindset and yeah, the subconscious work I'm doing to help people, step outside of the cloud and feel good and raise their frequency on the long-term game.
Okay. Oh my
So yeah,
God.
and also be in a tribe where they feel like loved and supported for exactly
Yeah.
who they are. Like I want to build a tribe where we can be like, do the craziest thing and the
Many
weirdest thing, and we're
things.
still loved and accepted. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are the three things people can connect with me
Oh
and
my
work with
God.
me.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for your wisdom on this episode. I feel like I have gained so much just listening to you and sitting here. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. And I'm so glad to have you here.
You're so welcome. That was such a pleasure, actually. I felt like really held in your space. Like it feels very comfortable to be with
Oh,
you. Like
thank
honestly, I
you.
could really like just drop and be present with you. So thank
Oh,
you so
thank
much
you.
for holding that space. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. Take care. Have an amazing week ahead. Bye.
Yeah, you too. Ciao.
Bye.
Mhm.
Well, that was the end of this episode. I absolutely loved everything that she shared, and I think there was so much wisdom in her words. Even if you had one takeaway from this, I consider this episode a success. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your attention. If you've been enjoying my podcast and my episode so far, please make sure to subscribe or follow and rate me. That will show me your feedback and help me improve accordingly. Thank you so much for your time, for your energy. You're listening to Rebel with a Purpose, and I'm Pratna, signing off.